Hey, welcome back to another video. Today we have a random assortment of topics because I haven't done a video in a while. And so yeah, let's just get right into it. So the first thing I want to talk about straight away is this specific book here. So this is Fear of the Mouth-Eyed Woman. I did mention this and show this in a somewhat recent video, but I have completed this and this is an amazing read. So this is by Tatari Takayama, rest in peace, who passed away only a couple years ago. And yeah, this is to me a one of a kind like horror. It's a horror gag manga, but genuinely it is so up my alley in terms of just like different stylistic choices, story elements in it. I think after En-chan's House, which is this one, this is my favorite read of the year so far, and I did talk about it in a video previously. This is probably my second favorite read of the year right now, and it is so good. I really need to get more Tatari Takayama stuff. They've only had maybe a couple more manga, but essentially this is a story that follows our main character here, Suzume, and their friend Yuriko, and then this guy who pops up later. But Suzume is the head or the captain of like the news club in school, and it starts off with her just beating the shit out of her friend Yuriko. It is really heavy on the gag, but genuinely I have not laughed this hard at a manga in quite a while. It is so wacky, and there's just all these scenes of just like pure action interspersed throughout the mundane dialogue that they have. And what sets off the story is, well, after this we've got a couple of random scenes. I really genuinely love the character design of her eyes. Her eyes are permanently shoujo-fied. Like they stay this weird way. She kind of looks like an insect to me, but at the same time it's just really funny, that stylistic choice of that. But yeah, we start off this main story with Yuriko essentially bringing up like a topic, saying, hey, I've got a topic that we can show off in our news club, and it's about the specifically it's changed a little from the original like urban legend, but this one is the mouth-eyed woman. So instead of like the kuchisake onna, it is instead of the scars and everything, it's a mouth. And it's just the reactions that come out of Suzume throughout everything is so funny. Unfortunately this is not translated in English. I think I do remember at one point, when Starfruit Books, when Matt was here, I think there was actually maybe an announcement of translating something from Tatari Takayama. I'll have to double check that. But I genuinely think this would be an amazing story to license, because it's so funny, but it's very memorable. It just like twists the usual horror that you might read. Like for example here, this is the instance where Suzume hears of the story of this mouth-eyed woman, and her reaction is just going, screaming for a bit, and then finally realizing and laughing. And in this panel here, it says that she's been laughing for like an hour after hearing Yuriko mention that. And one of the funniest scenes, I should have said it as well, this will be spoilers. I won't spoil the rest of the book. I'll just only talk about the start of it, because it's not too plot heavy, but because it's just only the beginning of them investigating this legend. But essentially one of my favorite scenes in the entire manga is when they stumble upon it, and immediately Suzume just pushes Yuriko, just leaves her to the dust, and runs away in this really, really comical scene here, and continues to run away all the way back to her house, where she goes and takes a shower and sleeps like nothing ever happened. And this had me laughing so hard when I first read this. But stuff like that is pretty much what you'll get throughout the entire story, with some extra crazy lore drops and wild events that happen throughout. You know, we are looking at an urban legend that is existing here, and there's this whole backstory of what happens. But the ending as well is quite memorable too. It's quite emotional. So this book gives you pretty much everything. It gives you the gags, it gives you the art, gives you the suspense, the emotions, and even at the end we get this really cool, without spoilers, this really cool color page sequence of everything. So yeah, without knowing the story, you won't understand the end of that. But it is, I think, just it's so good. It's so good, especially if you are a big horror reader. You know, when it comes to, I guess in any genre anyways, when it comes to you consuming a lot of one genre, you know, you get the ins and outs. You understand the different tropes, the conventions, and all the different things that happen in a specific genre. And so reading a lot of horror manga, I feel that this, personally, you know, you some people might disagree with me, but I personally think that this stands out. It subverts a lot of things when it comes to horror manga. It makes it interesting by adding that really effective gag element to it, but it also is supplemented by actual storytelling and emotional beats as well throughout the whole thing. So I really recommend this. Right now there are no translations in English. I'm not sure if it's scanlated either, but I really do hope that this will come out at some point in English. And if you haven't noticed as well, the cover of this is meant to you know, parody or mimic the usual Hibari covers that you have, but this one's Woofit Comics, published by Lead Cafe. So Lead does do a couple of good series. I haven't read too much of Lead stuff, but always pops up when I'm looking for like alt manga, that sort of thing. But yeah, really amazing read. I love this one. Second best read of the year so far. And I don't know if it's too, I don't think it's too rare to find. We'll see. Yeah, so a bunch of random topics, but I think I do have to briefly mention Chainsaw Man because that recently finished. And yeah, so I have collected up to this point volume 14. I don't know how many volumes there are at the end, maybe 20 something, but I really enjoyed part 1, of course, and when part 2 came out, the start of it, which is, you know, this is the start of part 2 in terms of volumes. The start of it was really engaging for me. I know some people didn't like the pacing difference, but I enjoyed it a lot, especially as we pivoted to a new main character throughout the whole thing. And Denji was still very present throughout the whole thing, but having Asa and Yoru as the main characters for the second part was a really refreshing direction, I think, of the story. But without any spoilers, the ending was announced very abruptly recently, and I hadn't been keeping up with Chainsaw Man as of recent, but as soon as I heard that, I really had to keep up to see where the story was at. And when I did catch up, you know, it was very disappointing. And I have already read the ending and quite disappointed by that too. But I think maybe it's just been me being busy, but I think I'm already over it, because for me, Tatsuki Fujimoto has had such an insane track record when it comes to Look Back, Goodbye Eri, even Fire Punch. I thought Fire Punch was weird. I thought Chainsaw Man kind of refined a lot of the things that Fire Punch was going for, but even Fire Punch was still a really unique read in the space of shonen manga, at least. And for me, the ending of Chainsaw Man didn't sully too much the progress that it made throughout part 1 and the first half of part 2. I think, yes, it ruins a lot of things, but I'm not going to rule out, you know, reading any more Fujimoto stuff. I am very excited to actually see what he does next, because I think clearly he was kind of tired of this story. And, you know, it is disappointing as a fan, but I'd rather him do what he wants than cater to people. but yeah, just wanted to briefly mention that. So, by the way, Famicom, like my name, my channel name and everything, I just thought of randomly. I don't really care too much about that, but Famicom is supposed to be Fami, this character here, who turns out to be, if you read the story, you know, but that's what it is supposed to mean, Fami complex. But yeah, I'm lucky I didn't collect the rest of the Chainsaw Man series. I'm not going to anymore. But either way, I'm still gonna continue watching the anime as it comes out, because I did watch the movie and I enjoyed that as well. So I did want to briefly mention that because it was such a big topic throughout the manga world, anime world as of recently. And so moving on to another, it's not a big topic, but it is, I guess, a controversial topic. Kind of related to this, I just wanted to bring out the Wooden Mortared Kingdom to flick through while I am talking. But I did see recently on just Instagram, I don't know who it was, I saw a post of someone showing one of their manga magazines that was sent for grading coming back or damaged by the post. And what I'm going to talk about isn't going to be about that specifically, about like the damage and all that stuff, but it just reminded me about the whole world of grading and it pisses me off. So I kind of wanted to talk about it, and I'll just be flicking through this Wooden Mortared Kingdom just to have something on the screen as I talk. But yeah, I have mentioned previously in one of my other videos about my thoughts on grading manga, but just grading in general I absolutely hate. Personally, it is a big symbol of hobbies being destroyed for me. And so seeing manga magazines, manga tankobons, even English manga issues, first prints and everything like that, seeing those now become a thing when it comes to grading is such a wild thing to be, because when it comes to other things being graded, like trading cards, you know, mostly trading cards actually, even though I hate it, it makes more sense because, you know, they're cards. You can play the game, you can collect it. But when it comes to manga, when it comes to physical books, especially books that have come from, you know, before the 2000s, the 90s and everything, I can't imagine myself ever encasing one of these amazing books in a trophy case. It's personally, I hate it, you know, and feel free to disagree. This is just something that I think myself, because clearly it has been popping off. It has gained some traction, but I do think in general, though, it is quite controversial, as is grading with everything too, because, you know, books are made to be read. I do understand trading cards more because they are more visually, I guess it just makes more sense logistically for them to be graded and treated like a trophy. But a book, come on, man. You've got pages and pages of effort and labor, ink, creativity put into these things, and it's kind of just locked up away in a cage and then used to trade around for profits and stuff. That's another thing, you know. It's just, I can't imagine doing that with any of my gore issues. What I've seen so far is a lot of them being treated like that are the shonen magazines, which I myself do not care about and am lucky, because if I was into shonen magazines, that would piss me off even more, and it would also jack up the prices of everything too. But yeah, a lot of them I've seen so far have been like first appearances of this and that, which I do understand. I do understand the hype of having a magazine and the value of having an issue where something did appear for the first time. That I agree with. You know, there's a lot of importance in that, but to put it into a trophy case, to then be sealed, and then, you know, just, I think it's really obvious as well that they're all being moved around for profit, which is, I think, yeah, it's not a great look, I would say, personally. But yeah, I've also seen, like, the one thing that doesn't make sense to me specifically, if you've been on manga social media, you will have seen English first editions of manga being graded. That is fucking wild to me. What is the point of grading? It's not even original. Like, for example, I've seen, One Piece, Naruto Volume 1s in English, first printing, being put into these grading cases, and it's just like, okay, number one, it's not even the original because it's just the English version of it, and it's my mind always goes to, it's an English reprint. Come on, you can buy the actual thing for like $10, $15. I guess, yeah, my values are just different to other people. I guess some other people would put value on the fact that it is first printing. But even then, it is a manga at the end of the day. They're meant to be read. Don't really know what I'd do with a frame of, like, okay, imagine me putting my earliest Daisuke Ichiba book, Woman's Heart, signed. Imagine me putting that into getting that graded. Like, just doesn't make sense. But yeah, I kind of just wanted to talk about it because it was just a topic that came to mind that I thought a bit about when I did see the post pop up. And I'm not directly trying to like spread hate or anything, but I do not enjoy the culture that is grading. Very parasitic and very superficial, I feel. But then again, not everything about it is superficial. I do not doubt that the people who enjoy this sort of thing are avid fans of the manga, of the series, of the hobby, nothing like that. But it's just the practice that is grading manga or grading in general just leaves a hugely sour taste in my mouth that I do not ever want to be a part of. So yeah, those are just my thoughts. If you do support or enjoy grading, this little section is not aimed to degrade you or anything. This is just my thoughts on why I don't like that specific practice. So yeah, it's just bringing about a discussion. But yeah, this Garo, Wood and Mortar Kingdom, by the way, I have not touched in a long time because I also haven't read that many Garo issues recently. But it's a really fucking cool book to have. It's quite a rare one. And yeah, just rare in general, seeing these 1,000-page tomes being printed for such an important magazine, to me at least. But yeah, those were my thoughts on the manga magazine grading industry, businesses, that sort of thing. Anyways, I think the last thing that I want to briefly talk about is I found something pretty cool on YouTube. Just randomly popped up on my feed. It's not related to any specific books or anything, but I just wanted to, I'll link it in the description. But I found a cool exhibition at Gallery Zaroff. I don't really know too much about them, that featured both Takashi Nemoto and Miyanishi Keizo in the same exhibition, which to me is like, wow, that's insane. Because if you know the two art styles of each, it's on polar opposite sides of the spectrum. You have Takashi Nemoto, who does all this Heta Uma, one of the main names I think of when it comes to Heta Uma. Very raunchy, gory, dicks everywhere, that sort of thing. His works next to Miyanishi Keizo, who, it's actually the content, the subject matter is kind of the same. You see a lot of genitalia, nudity, gore, whatnot. But Miyanishi Keizo, if you don't know, is a lot more delicate, a lot more, I guess, it's not Heta Uma at all, but there is a lot of effort into creating these beautiful scenes, beautiful characters, and very tragic stories as well. So seeing both of them next to each other in a gallery space was such a whiplash, but I really enjoyed that whiplash. So I will link that video in the description. It's just someone, just recording and showing off. It's a short one, and showing off all the different works there. But yeah, I thought it was just a really interesting thing that happened. I don't know, I forgot what year it was, but check that video out. It's a really unique exhibition and a combination of artists that I happened to stumble upon. So yeah, that's why I brought these two books out, just to talk about that. But that is it for today's video. Not too many topics, just wanted to, a couple of things on my mind, so just wanted to throw them out into the camera. So yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed that one. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.